Hey guys, Eric here. On this episode of Problem Solve the Basics, I'm going to take you through plugging up holes in the wall. Now this isn't for like the big holes like a doorknob might cause or anything like that, but this is for any indentions, nail holes, screw holes. Maybe you had a picture or a painting or something hung on the wall and then you decided to move it and then it left a little hole in the wall. In this episode, I'm going to take you through how to plug up those holes. So I'm going to be plugging up this hole here. This is a screw that's in the wall that was, we're going to remove that screw and we're going to plug up that hole. And there's also a little hole here and here. That screw was used to hang up some stuff. And then also, if we go over here, we've got some, if you can see, if it'll focus. Right here, there are some pinholes that are in the wall there from something that used to be hanging there. So I'm going to take you through how to plug up those holes, and we're going to be using a kit from Amazon to do that. All right, let's get it done. Okay, so in order to plug up these holes, we're going to be using the Soto 7-piece premium spackle kit from Amazon. This isn't sponsored by them or anything like that, and there's no affiliate link or anything like that. It's just a kit that I saw on Amazon. I needed to plug up some holes, and I thought I would try it out. So that's the kit we're going to be using. We're going to open it up, see what's included, and then we'll get started on plugging up those holes. Okay, so here's the package. This is for the Soto premium 7-piece spackle kit. And it should include everything we need in order to plug up those holes. So let's open it up. Right, this is what we got. Packaging, nice package here. Artist in residence. There we go. Soto spackle kit. This is a nice package. I like this package. Let's tear into it and let's see what we got. Wow. Alright, so we got a little note here from Soto. And then we got this nice little bundle. Let's go ahead and open this up. It says Soto down there. This is nice. This kit retails for 20 bucks, so not expensive. And wow, this is a nice little, look at that. Let me zoom it out a little bit, or there you go. Nice little kit. Okay. What do we got here? So we got disposable gloves. That's nice. Like that. What do we got? We got a spackle knife with a wooden handle. Nice. This is not bad. I mean, a spackle knife, a good spackle knife will cost you 20, 25 bucks. $15 at least, and this whole kit was 20 bucks, so that's good. This is good. Seems okay. Not the most sturdy thing, but definitely worth the money. What do we got here? Here's the actual spackle. Feels super light. This color I got, what's it called? Cultivated White, number 6. And it's got a sticker on the back for the actual color of the spackle. We're going to spackle it and then we're going to paint it. What else do we get? We got, here's a sanding block. Nice for sanding it down once it's dry. And let's open this up a little bit. Can we open it? I didn't want to tear it, but that's okay. We're going to open it anyway. Okay, so it looks like... Is it the same grit? Yeah, it looks like it's the same grit all the way around. What grit is it? Does it say? Here we go. 240 grit. Yeah, 240 grit sanding block. Alright, and the last piece we have is this. This is a tube key, so you're going to slide this on the bottom of the tube, and then you twist it as you use the spackle to squeeze every bit of spackle out of this. So this is a neat kit. For $20, you're not going to beat that price. And I like this little carrying case. You can use this for other things or just for your spackle kit. So this is really nice. Alright, we're going to get started using this kit to plug up some holes. There is one other piece in this kit that was at the bottom here. I think that's the last piece. Right here, Soto, and it says expandable towel. So this is nice. Yeah, water expandable towel to clean up messes as you go. Expands to 9 inches by 12 inches. Nice. So this kit's got a lot of stuff in it. Really happy with that. So plugging up holes in the wall is pretty easy. Basically the process is you're gonna feel out the hole and you wanna make sure the surface is flat. If it's not perfectly flat, you wanna use a sanding block like this one that came with a kit, or any sort of sandpaper or anything like that. And 240 grit is about right. What you wanna do is you wanna sand the surface just to make sure it's flat first. You wanna start with a nice even surface. So we're gonna take this and we're just gonna rub it over the screw hole here. And it's okay if you sand the paint down a little bit, because we are gonna repaint it after we're done spackling to make the hole completely disappear. So, just gonna sand this down to try and get it even. And it's pretty even. It doesn't have to be perfectly even because the spackle will even out the surface itself. So that screw hole left a little of a raised area. So let's go ahead and continue to sand it just a little bit. Okay, now it's much more even. Now the next part is to actually spackle the hole. Before we start the actual spackle process, this is the towel once it's expanded that came with the Soto kit. It's a little bit damp, and what I want to do is I want to wipe down the area that I sanded, because you don't want loose dust. You don't want to spackle over loose dust, basically, and you definitely don't want to paint over loose dust. So I'm just using this damp towel to kind of wipe it down, make sure there's no loose dust there, and then you can dry it off with any sort of terry cloth or any sort of paper towel. Alright, the next part is actually putting the spackle on the knife. I like to apply the spackle directly to the knife, and I'll show you what I mean. Take the spackle with the key on the bottom of the tube here, and just apply it directly to the knife, just like that. So I got like a bead of spackle there, and we don't need much. So I'm just going to leave that there, and we will go up top. Alright. I'm going to take my hole that's right there, and I'm just going to run the spackle right over it, just like that. Now this doesn't have to look perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfectly flat, because you're going to sand it down later. So just make sure you get the holes that you want fully covered up. Now typically, spackle like this dries pretty quickly, like within the next couple hours or so, it'll be fully dry. But you do want to make sure that it is fully dry before you start the sanding process. Otherwise, it's still going to be gooey, and then it's going to get all over your sandpaper, and it won't be good. So you want to make sure that it's fully dry before you start the sanding process. The other thing that you want to be careful of is these walls, they are lightly textured, but they're not dramatically textured. There are a lot of walls out there inside that have a lot more dramatic texture to them. When your wall has a lot of texture like that, you want to be a little bit neater with your spackle and not spread it out so much, so you don't have to retexture the wall after you've sanded and after you've painted, or as you're painting. So now that we've got our holes covered up with the spackle here, you can see the spots where I did it. We are going to just wait for that to dry, and then we'll paint, or I'm sorry, we're gonna wait for that to dry, and then we will sand it down so it's smooth, and then we'll paint and the holes will be gone. The other thing that you want to be sure and do is once you are finished spackling and you're waiting for it to dry, you want to make sure you clean your spackle knife off. You don't want any residual spackle on your knife, because then it changes the shape of the knife and it makes it harder to reuse later. Alright guys, so this spackle that came from the Soto kit actually dries really, really fast. So if you touch here, you can see it's very, very hard. It almost feels like the paint on the wall. So now it's time to start sanding, and we're gonna sand it down and make it smooth. And we're gonna do that in both places, and then it's time to paint. Okay. I've sanded everything down, and the way you can tell if you've sanded enough is if you run your hand over it and you don't feel the levels change. It should be just as flat as the paint. Now you may not feel it exactly as the paint does because it's going to be a little bit smoother, but I'm going to show you how to fix that. The next step is you're going to take that damp cloth that the kit came with and you're going to wipe it down, because there's going to be residual dust here on the wall and you don't want to paint over dust. So you just want to wipe it down, make sure you clean off all of that dust. Once the dust is taken care of, it's time to get ready to paint, and I'll show you a secret to getting the same feel as the existing wall here. Okay, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take part of an old sponge. I just cut up this old sponge. You're gonna rinse it out, make sure it's really, really clean. You can maybe run it through the dishwasher if you want to clean it up. And then you're gonna take that and you're gonna paint with that sponge. So I've got my paint here, right here. I'm just gonna dip the edge of the sponge in here. Make sure there's no drips. And then we're gonna take this and we're gonna paint where we used the spackle. I'm gonna go right up here. And you're just gonna dab with the paint. Make sure you spread it around. So you're just gonna dab and slide. Now what the sponge does is it works on kind of moderately textured walls. It won't work on if you have, you know, very dramatic texture in your walls, but if you just have moderate texture in your walls, the sponge will kind of blend the new paint into it a lot better. That way you don't have to repaint the entire wall just to do a small patch like this. And then we're just going to repeat those steps on the other wall where we put the spackle as well. So when it's done, it should look like this. Now the paint looks like a little different color right now, but that's because it's wet. As soon as it dries up, you'll see that it levels itself and that it becomes the same exact color as the wall. I'll show you guys the video once the paint is dry. All right, now that the paint's dry, you can see that where the holes were no longer visible, and it looks just like the wall. The paint is not 100% dry, but it's pretty dry and it's already disappeared into the wall, so the holes are now plugged. Alright guys, so that was how to plug a hole in a wall using the Soto Premium 7-piece spackle kit from Amazon for $20. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Problem Solved Basics. I hope you guys enjoyed and found it helpful. If you guys want to support the channel, go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave me any comments below if you have any questions. You can join my Instagram, which is linked down there in the description below. And if you really want to support the channel, you can join my Patreon, which also is a link down below in the description. This has been Problem Solved Basics. Thank you for joining me for another problem solved.